Here we go. Dave here, how are you? Today is the 12th of January 2020. I hope you've had a good week. We've had fires and it just continues. International news has been horrible, but here is a brief respite from all of that. Hang out with me for a little while. I don't know if we'll do the full hour today, but we'll see how we go. On the show today we have Nick Ferry's flowing grain box, the secret revealed. Now it's not really a secret. What's happened was Nick did a way of book matching a piece of wood, and then he made the box out of that book matched piece by turning it around back to front and some magic. And I'll show you one that I have already made. So this is, you can see how it's a continual flow all the way around. See that? It's just, it works really nicely. So we're going to do that. I've cut one up through the bandsaw and got it ready to assemble. So we'll do the glue up and have some fun with that. As I say, I don't want to labor the point too long. It's just a quick thing. The next thing, Jesse Shaw and Anne Sweet, partners in art and science. Now these guys came in and saw me a week or so ago and said, Dave, like what you did regarding the Jessam clear-cut stock guides on the table saw. And Jesse said, I replicated the same kind of thing on a DeWalt saw, which was a little bit of engineering for him, but he's right into that. He's a doctor, not a medical doctor, but a doctor of possibly of engineering. Anyway, so we're going to have a look at that. And his partner, Anne Sweet, is an artist who exhibits her work all around the world. So we shall be looking at her workshop. Only a few pictures of hers, but more it's about Jessie, of course. A tip on some maintenance on a jointer. You'll see just behind me here, I've got the back off my jointer. I'm going to show you the couple of things you need, to do to pull the cutter head out and to replace it. It's very simple. Don't do it if you're not mechanically minded. Get someone to do it for you, but it's not that hard. There's not a lot of intrigue to it. The $500 gift card from CARBATEC, we're going to do a live draw. I have everyone's names in here. There's not a lot, but what I've done is I was going to do it on Rafflecopter, but I decided against it. The reason being I wanted it to be live so you could see it actually happen, because it's a substantial amount of money. So I've written down the initials of everyone who was entered. Now there wasn't a lot of people. There was 9 people who actually purchased the machine using the code. I was surprised. I thought more people would have taken advantage of going into the draw. So all they had to do was write my name in the promotional part online. It had to be online, and I advertised it a lot. So I'm going to do that. If I had gone through Rafflecopter, what would have happened was the person's name and their email address would have come up on the screen and stayed there. Now, some people are a little bit funny about their privacy, so I decided against that. I'll open all these up. You'll be able to see the initials, and you will know if they're your initials. Scrunch them up a bit, throw them in here, and then pull one name out. And I'll let you know your name, obviously, when you win. Okay. G code for your CNC, which one? If I get time, I'll have a quick chat about that. It's very, very easy, but, there you go. All right, first thing we're going to do is have a look at this book matching thing. And I've got a prop here. This is a cardboard box, and it has had all of the corners designed by a graphic designer. So it has flow right the way around the box. That's what I did with this. It has flow right the way around the box. There's a trick. what we do, let me see if I've got a piece of wood lying around here somewhere. You'd reckon I would. I don't really need to use a piece of timber to tell you this. I'll grab one anyway. Mucking around. All right, here is a piece of Australian cedar. What we're going to do, and I've already done it. I'm not going to do it on the show. I've already done it to save time. I ripped a piece of timber right down the center, book matched it. So when I open it up, there's the grain. Now, the thing is, when we do that, and we have two pieces of timber now, we are going to use the diagonally opposing piece on the book matches. So with this box as an example, it's not a great example, but it's going to do it for me. This side here is a short side, and so is that one there. See that? Remember I said diagonally opposed to each other. Pull that one up, that one there. So the ones that I've got stuck up in the air, they're my diagonals. They're my short sides of the box. The other ones, so hold that up. These two are my long sections. So if I was looking at this piece of wood, short here, short here, short there, I should say, and short over here, long from there to there, and long on that side from there to there. The miters also must run so that where we do this cut in the book matching, that is going to be the outside of the box. Now, why do you say that? Because, here's an example. Look down there. See how the grain is moving around even in that thickness of 1 inch. We want the book match part to be on the outside. Because only there, only in the middle part where we cut it open, both those sides are going to be identical. We're going to lose a bit of thickness with dressing it up with a thickness planer if the bandsaw doesn't track perfectly straight, and a little bit of thickness with the sander, but nowhere near the variance that I'm getting from there to there. Do you follow? It makes sense. All right. Now, you may know also that during the week I grabbed a couple of these. These are walnut chopping board, and it's ironical that the previous week we had, I was making a chopping board, and I thought, yeah, someone said, how much would you be able to sell them for? And I thought, oh, $30 odd. Sounds like a fair price. And it probably is, but these were on sale at a particular store in Australia for $6. And so I bought a couple. You're mad not to. Some of the other people that I know on Facebook, follow me on Facebook, and friend me, what have you, and I'll let you know these things if I see them. Anyway, so that's walnut, and that is what we're using for the top and the bottom of this particular box. Now this I've already cut up, and I've already done it through book matching, and we're going to glue it up. So I'll show you around the outside. This is rock maple. And again, around the outside. I've told you how I did it. And they look magic. All right, even these two pieces are book matched as well. Now I've sanded the inside, which used to be the outside, obviously. And I've sanded these parts here as well. So I'm going to go to Carl Cam. Where are we? There and up to there. Now you can see, why is that going very slowly? That's not good. I'm going to go back to the other camera. That's not good at all. I don't know why that's happening. I wonder if the other one is working all right. I've got another camera here. Let me run my hand in front of it. Yep, that one's fine. So I'm going to bring it over. Raise it up a little bit. All these things that are sent to test us. Tip that down a little bit. This will be just as good, if not better. I'm going to switch the cameras. There you go. Now I'm going to open this up. This is an easy way of assembling a box. To do a glue up, if you hadn't done this way before, I suggest you do it. Use quality blue tape, and we're going to open it like so and like so. Take these two pieces out like that. Take this back a little bit further and tip her up a bit more. Lovely. These bits of tape here are to reduce the amount of glue spill out when I clamp this back up again. You will notice as well, maybe if I get this camera and just go across the top, how the grain is following right the way through. And then that grain here is going to marry up with that. Now I'm going to tell you something. This part here, that is one half of the book match, and then these two here are the other part of the book match. Bring it back again. I think anyway. Someone's probably going to correct me and say, Dave, that can't be right. All right, now these two, as I say, you can see they're book matched. They were two pieces like that, through the bandsaw, open. But these are really, really nice. Okay, now, they've sanded both sides, so it doesn't matter if I put that in that way or that way up. It doesn't really make any difference. One is going to be the bottom inside this dado. I did this with a 6mm flat top blade, and I machined these down to 6mm thick and then sanded them to 2000. All right, a bit of glue in here. All the inside is sanded down to 2000 as well. The outside is not sanded yet. Glue, and then we'll switch the cameras around as well while I'm gluing. And I'm hoping everything is going like it should. I really don't need to put a lot more glue in there. The reason being, when I start using the brush, it's going to fill up with glue as well. This has had some glue on it before today. The great thing about these silicone brushes is you just give them a squeeze and pinch out all the old glue. There we go. All right. As I was saying, with the tape, that really does help as far as spill out while you're doing this part. You can use ordinary masking tape if you want to, but this blue stuff doesn't tend to have any issues further down the track as we're taking the tape off. A lot of tape will stick and tear all over the place. This stuff seems to be pretty good. Now, I'm going to put some glue in the long grain sections, not in the cross grain, only in the long grain sections, because if there's any expansion and contraction, I don't want this to, snap anything. Okay, and there. Actually, I'm going to do it on one side only. All right. Now, I think which you tell me which side you reckon looks better. I think I'm going to go with this side. So I'm going to drop that in. Now I've made this box a little bit back to front to what a lot of people would do. I cut this base and then I made the sides to suit it. Normally you'd make the box to suit the size of the application you're doing. I'll switch the cameras again. And then you would rip or trim these, the bases and the lids to the right size to fit in. This one here, that looks pretty nice. I like that side. Whoop! I like that side best. So this might be my top. Drop that in. That's looking pretty cool. Lovely. All right. Now, it's a matter of lift it. Into position. Roll it. Do you like it so far? And make sure there's nothing, no gunk there. Raise this one. Turn it around a little bit so you can see what's happening. Pull it tight. Yep. Now with that little bit of squeeze out, I need to get rid of that because I want to see what's happening on that corner. That's it. Now pull down tight, really, really tight, like that. And on this one, the same. Pull down really tight. It's fun, isn't it? I love this stuff. There we go. Now I've got a little bit of squeeze out in the lid there, just down. Turn it around. Just here. So I'm going to get that with a towel. I think I've got something here. Bit of water on it. See, I do things like this. Just there's so many other things that I have to do. Sometimes some people will like some stuff I do, some people like other stuff I do. You know. Can't please everyone all the time. Especially on the internet. All right, we're still going well. How are we going for time? Good. As I said, I don't want to spend too much time today. I'm cheating here. I've just run a little bit of water over the walnut to see how it's going to pop. It's going to be very, very nice. And the other side is just fine. Now I'm going to let that set. There's a little bit there. They say half an hour in the clamps. I'm going to leave it for longer with the tape on. And then what I might do towards the end of it, not today, but towards the end of it, I might cut a couple of splines, which is kind of like it reinforces the corner. And I'd like to either buy or make a spline jig. Might look at getting one. Anyway, that looks very, very nice. And as I say, the grain right the way around. You can see I've got A and A written, and then B and B. That's just the way I do it. C and C, and the end is D and D. And remember that these surfaces on the outside here were the center of the book match when I opened it up. So I've opened it up and then turned it inside out. It's not too hard. You'll enjoy doing it if you do it. I could make this pull in tighter by using these things. I was going to use the box joint cauls around the outside as well. And you know what? I think I will. I'm going to pull it up nice and tight. So these guys Go around there. I'm just going to move that back a little bit. And that one there. And I'll get a strap clamp. See if I've got one down here. I have one. One should do, but we'll see. Maybe I'll use two. I'll get the other one just in case. Now, what these do is they'll pull it up equally. So let me see if I can pull a bit out. All right, crank her up. Tighten her up, come on. Gotcha. Now I should really have these back here a little bit. I'll get this part done first. That's working well. I will put the other one on as well. So I'm tightening these up there, and I'll put the other one on as well. I'll tip her over so you can see as it's happening. I'll tighten her up. These are out too far, get them in there. It's like I'm going fishing. That's pulling it in. Oh yeah, that's pulling those joints up nice. These are designed for box joints, these cawls, but they are. Have another look. Yeah, that's pulled the top of the miter in really, really well. Very happy. There we go. Now I'm going to leave that in the clamps. I love these little projects, and that's going to look so pretty. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it looks nice. That's the important thing. After it's all dry, what we might do next week on the show is sand the outside. Maybe do the splines first, then sand the outside, and then put it through the bandsaw or over the table. So I'm not sure which way I'll do it yet. And open the box. And inside will be perfect. All right, next thing. So that's off to the side. As I say, I don't want to spend too much time on the show this weekend. Move that out of the way. I read on the run sheet what we've got. So that's Nick's secret revealed. And the next thing was Jessie Shaw and Anne Sweet. Let's have a look, and I'll do a little bit of reading at the same time. All right, I'm going to put this over. This is what Anne creates with the help of Jessie. So that's her art hanging on the wall. Now, this is around the world in different galleries. You'll see her work pop up. So this is by no means small potatoes. She's a pretty cluey woman, and Jessie gets all of the stuff organized for us. She puts the finish on, Jessie does the form. I think that's how it works. I'm going to read what Jessie sent in to me. Hi Dave. I've attached 2 photos of my workspace and a photo of Anne's dry studio in what was once the front spare bedroom. The dry studio is for relatively less messy work. And I think I've got another picture here, which is, maybe not. Hold on a second. Give me a sec. I'll try and find this other photo. What's this? Oh, I found it. Found it. Don't panic. Okay, there is a photo of the paint mixing area, and I'll go to this one. In Anne's main studio, where oil paint can and does go everywhere. All right, the next one is a picture from the dining room. My workshop is at the end of the house and leads out onto our rear deck. I think they're the doors out to the back deck there. Anne wears earmuffs when she's in the kitchen when I'm sawing, and a plastic curtain, let's have a look here. The plastic curtain appears and keeps most of the dust not captured by the shop vac out of the house. Anne paints on traditional gesso, Gesso, which we have applied to aluminium composite material, ACM. I'll go back to the pictures of Anne's stuff. We start with 900 by 1200 millimeter panels of ACM. After the surfaces of the panels are prepared, I rough out shapes with a track saw and then use a pattern cutting setup on the saw to cut to final size. I make templates of numerous sizes and shapes out of layered MDF. And he's told me, I think, that those on top of the saw there, he says glue up of template stock is in progress on the bench. Assembling the final painted shapes is an artistic design engineering challenge. The workshop is 2.8 meters wide by 3 meters. Let me do that again, 2.8 wide by 3 meters long. I open the rear door and use the hallway behind me on the rare times I have to saw long stock. We enlist other parts of the house if we have to assemble large things like the movable work table for the dry studio. Keep looking out for your latest videos. You provide lots of good tips and ideas. Well, thank you very much for sending that in, Jesse, and I'm going to switch over to here. And Anne for allowing him. I've got to let you know that Jesse wasn't all that keen on sending the stuff in, but Anne was saying, yes, send it in. And Jesse said, of course. But look, if you've got a project on, or if you're doing stuff like this and you watch the channel by any chance, flick them into me. Send me some photos in and a story like Jesse did. It wasn't too long, not even a full page. And write it in such a way where I don't sound like a boffin while I'm reading it. Okay, what's the next thing we're going to do? Thank you again, Jesse. If you like what's happening on the show, do this thing. Click the thumbs up down there. It's not hard. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. I'll show you how to do these things like that box, which I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I like making them. And they're nice to touch, and that one's sanded to 2000 as well. Oh, we'll do the pair of those next week, as I say. We'll put some splines in and we'll sand them and open them up. All right. Okay, so a tip on some maintenance on a jointer. I'm going to move this camera back over to here and lower the head down. Again, this may not be everyone's cup of tea, but this was asked by one of my subscribers if I could have a bit of a talk about this. So I shall come down to the same level as the jointer there, lift that up a little, and there we go. All right, checking that everything's happening here all right. The jointer has got two bearing blocks. This is a bearing block mount and another one over the front. We're looking at the back of the jointer at the moment. That's the mutton chop or the blade guard, whatever you want to call it, the cutter head guard. It swings back out of the way. I'm just using something down there for today while I'm explaining how this works. I've removed the fence. The fence normally sits up on here, mounted to the side, slides backwards and forwards across the in-feed and the out-feed table. I have here also the pulley, the drive belt from the motor guard. Oh, by the way, the machine is unplugged. I never work on a machine when it's plugged in. This little guard is held on by a bolt either side. I think the 10mm spanner undoes it, and there is a nut underneath. It's not a captured nut, so you have to take the side off the machine. It's very easy. It's only 3 screws across the top, and the bottom screws, they only need to be loosened about 2 turns. Of course, the panel, after you take these top ones out, lifts up, and then you put it to the side, and that will expose the belt. The belt has got 1 inch of slack in it. That's how you set it up. So you should be able to push the belt across by 1 inch. I don't know why, but that's what the manual said to do. So it's very easy to wind the belt onto the pulley and wind it back off again. The So once you've got this off and undone the cutter head mounts, the bearing mounts, then you can move this out from the back. You can't put it out the front. It's not going to fit. I'll tell you that now. It's just not going to work. So when you're doing that, you will need to use a hand towel or something that's going to protect your fingers. Gloves, leather gloves, and something else to protect your fingers and also the cutter head. You do not want to allow the cutter head to drop down because it's going to damage the knives. You have to support it all the way and bring it out this side. I don't advise you to go moving these because this, you don't want to have to reset that. These guys here are part of the locking system that locks that in place. Once I set this side, which is the outfeed table, I lock those in tight. Just to give you an aside, there's a bit of angle, steel angle, bolted to the underside of this, and basically that kind of thing happens. As you move the table down and up, that block travels in between these two lock points that have got lock nuts fitted to it as well. That's an aside. Now, the reason the gentleman was asking me about taking the head out was because he had dropped something on these aluminium guards or extensions to the cast iron top, and one had dropped. So when he was putting timber across, he was bumping and a little bit unsafe. Now, what holds this onto here are 3 Allen key driven bolts, machine screws, metal threads, whatever you want to call them. But they hold that in position. The cast iron is tapped, so they screw straight into the cast iron. Put a straight edge over here, tighten them up. This is after you've removed the cutter head. Tighten the other side up, make sure the front is in line so it doesn't catch anything if you decide you want to use the front edge for rebaiting or rabbiting, whatever you want to call it. So tighten that all up, get it in position again, then you can reposition the cutter head back in again. These block mounts have no adjustment. There is no adjustment in there. That's just set. The rest of the machine is adjusted around these points. So it's not a biggie. As I say, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 dirty big internal recess drive screws, and that's not the right size. It's a smaller one than that, but you'll work it out. Put it all back together how it started, and then check that the head will turn correctly and that it's not wobbling around at all, and you should be right. Put the fence back on, connect it to the power, give it a test, like stand back from it, turn it on, and then if it's running fine, Bob's your uncle. If you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it. That's all there is to it. Get someone else to do it. But a lot of people are more than capable of undoing 4 bolts. No, I'm not even going to tell you that. A lot of people just don't do it. If you are super confident and have a good mechanical background, yeah, it's okay. All right, I'm going to head back to the other camera now. I think we've talked about that enough. Pick my glasses up. And over to the other one there. And we're good for battery. Do the transition. There, back again. All good. Okay, we're flying on. What's the next thing? We've done that. We've done the box. We've done Jesse and that. The gift card from CARBATEC Live Draw. Okay, I'll bring this one over again. Now, as I said, I'll switch that camera there so we can see what's going on. I'm going to put these on the bench here. These are the entries, and you'll see when I do the transition, there we go. Your initials will be there. If you've gone into the drawer for it, you'll see this is how I'm doing it. And I think this is the best way, because no one is going to know who, let's say, DD is. No one's going to know who DD is. So I'm keeping everyone very, all of their information secure. All right, and there. So I have DD, LM, BM, JH, JJ, SW, JP, CD, and IH. I'm going to fold those up again and a double fold, and I'm just going to throw them into this container. And it's clear. I was going to get a cardboard box so no one could see, but it's clear because you're going to watch while I do this, and you're going to see that I'm not looking at all. They're all just random pieces of paper, cut pretty much the same size. And the lucky person that I draw out is going to end up with a $500 CARBATEC gift card. Okay, now they're all in there. See that? Now, this is the part where it's going to be totally above board. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to look over there. I've got no other cameras that I can see who's doing this. Look, how about I even make it even more by putting it inside that box. There we go. Can't get better than that. Hey, Bullwinkle. Hand is around and round and round. I'm grabbing one. I've got it. It's in my hand. I'm going to put that over there. And I'm going to open it up in front of everyone. What's that? MS? No. I think it's SW. So, SW. I'm going to have a look through the list and tell you who SW is. So, coming down through there, that would be Stephen Wallbank. Stephen, $500 gift card from CARBATEC is all yours. I'll get that arranged and sent out. That has got to be a pretty cool way of doing the draw. Because, as I say, there was 9 people had purchased the machine through the link and using that code. And Stephen was the lucky guy to win it. All right. I'll send you an email as well, Stephen. And but you'll probably be watching, I bet you everyone will be watching this show that's entered going, is it me, is it me? Well, Stephen, congratulations. And thank you. And I'm hoping that the Jet spindle sander is performing well. I love mine. It's in the corner. It's used so often. No, I use it a fair bit, but I put things away. All right, what's the next thing? We're just about done. As I say, it's going to be a shortish show this week. G-code for your CNC, which one? Let me have a look. I'm going to load up a spire in the background. And it's loading now, but you can't see it, but it's there. And then I'm going to come over to here, and I should be able to have a look down here. Cameras, main camera with a spire. I'm going to flick over to it. I'll go down into the corner, and then we'll have a little bit of a look. Where is it? Come on, there we go. I should be in the corner. Now, open an existing file. Let's have a look at this one, which was the chopping boards. That was from last week. And drag it to the middle again by pushing down on the scroll wheel. Now I'm going to push down. I'm going to push away on the scroll wheel to make it larger, and then push down on it and drag back towards me. Same kind of thing. And that was the brand, or the vectors, that we'd looked at last week. And then I went ahead and machined. Now I'm going over to this side, and this is the CAM, computer aided machining. And that's the one that I want to go and save it to a G-code. Now, save the toolpath. There's this little fellow here. Be aware, this is not going to be the same with all software. This is how I do it in Aspire, and VCarve is much the same kind of thing. Aspire's kind of got all the bells and whistles. I'm going to click on the Save to File, And now you can see down here, the toolpath is there. Now my post-processor for my machine, because I'm using Mac 4, Avid CNC, who are the people that gave me my CNC machine, have now got their own code that they suggest you use. But you can see there are so many things down here. I used to use Mac 2 3 because Mac 2 or 3. I used to have Mac 3 and I'm in metric in Australia, so I used millimeters. You could have used Mac 2 3. You can see there's a heap down here. Let's keep on going down through all of these. Mac 2 3 inch. I could have done inch, but if I was in, say, the States, I think a lot of people also in England use the inch system as well. Personally, metric for me. So Avid CNC is the one that I use. So then I would continue on and click Save to Toolpath, and that would save it to either a USB stick or to another form of storage for media or for data. And then I'd put it on into the little laptop that runs the CNC. So I'm hoping that that answers the question. Depending on the software you're using and the CNC you're using, whose machine it is, and what type of software actually drives the stepper motors and all that kind of stuff on your machine, will determine which G code you save it to. Okay, hopefully that's going to work. I'm going to close that and then go back to the main camera on its own and transition. And I'm back again. Never really gone. All right, that's 40 odd minutes, and I think that is going to do us. Again, if you like what I'm doing and you like seeing these little things, that is so nice. That's nearly ready to come out of the clamps, but I'm going to leave it overnight and I'll take it out of the clamps tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. And as I say, we'll do some more work on this next week on the show. All right, look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and don't forget, use those links in the description box below. And thank you again to Jessie Shaw and Anne Sweet for sending stuff in. Send some more stuff in to me, and I'll throw it up on the show if you're interested. Everyone likes to see what we're all sticky beaks, aren't we? But we like to see what everyone else is doing. Thanks again to my patrons. And again, what can I say? Thank you. All right, that's it. That's it. I'm going to close it down. Let the ad run. There might be an ad at the end of the show. Just let it run before you turn the computer off. That would be helpful. Where are we? Come down to title screen, intro and text. That's me. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and I shall see you next week.